Hey, Melissa. When are you finally gonna move out of the house? Don't you know that this house belongs to my husband's family? It's high time that you just left.
Wait, what? Well, what do you mean? This isn't your husband's family's house, it's my family's house. And I don't have any plans to move out anytime soon, so I'm really not quite sure what you mean by that.
You really can be such a pain to deal with. Do you know that? Just how long are you going to make us all live together, huh? Don't you realize that it's high time you move out so that Brian and our son and I can all enjoy this house without you? Why do you always have to be such a burden on everyone and get in the way of what they want, huh?
Charlotte, are you serious? What makes you think that you can treat me this way after what I did for your son? Are you really forgetting that I paid the $40,000 for the surgery that he had? You came to me begging for help because you said that you two wouldn't be able to afford it at all, remember?
And so what? What is the point you're even trying to make with that, huh? You think that just because you helped us pay for some measly surgery that it makes you a saint or something like that? You think it means that we can never ask anything of you ever again? Or that you can boss us around just because of that?
Of course I don't think that. Charlotte, I really don't understand what's gotten into you. I mean, is this even really Charlotte? I don't think that I've ever seen you talk or write to me with this kind of tone.
You should know that the reason I held back and didn't talk to you this way earlier was exactly because you did pay for little Tommy's surgery. But now that all of that is over and done with, I really just don't have any use for you at all. So why don't you just pack your bags and get out?
I really have no idea what you're talking about at all. What does that have to do with the other at all? Are you just saying that you've been letting me live here because I had paid for your son's surgery before? You know that's not how this works, right?
Of course it's how it works. I consider that surgery you paid for as you paying rent to us. And now that you haven't paid any rent in a while, I just don't see the point in us living together anymore.
And that's really how you feel about this whole living situation that we have? Here I thought that you were such a kind and understanding person. But I guess you were just hiding this side of yourself from me.
Well, I really didn't have much choice, did I? I knew that I needed to treat you kindly since you were paying for the surgery and all. But once I heard that Brian's family had a huge house, I thought we all might be able to move in there and enjoy being closer to his family. Unfortunately, it was only after we decided to move into there that I realized that you were also living here. You have no idea how disappointing that was.
I'm sorry you were disappointed, but I was living here first, so it's not like I was trying to let you down with my presence.
And of course, it's not that I blame you for wanting to stay here. We just thought that you would have gone and found someone to get married to so that you could have moved out by now. But I thought that once we moved in, you would think more seriously about moving out. And that was already a long time ago and you were still living here.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say. This house has a lot of sentimental value to my family. And I have so many memories from here as well. Not just me, but all my brothers as well. So I can't just pack up my bags and leave this place like it was never mine.
No, don't you realize that you're keeping other people waiting with your selfishness? Don't you think you've been squatting here long enough already? I bet if you just got up and moved out of the house, you would lose all those silly little feelings of yours. Besides, now that you've paid for Tommy's surgery, I don't see why you think you should get to stay in this house any longer.
Charlotte, have you not been reading these texts? I am trying to tell you that this house belongs to my family. That's why I'm living here, and that's why I'm going to continue to live here.
You really just don't know anything at all, do you? Don't you know that houses always go to the eldest child? That means that this house didn't actually go to you, it went to your brother Brian, didn't it? So why don't you go out and find someone to marry you so that you can finally just leave us alone?
Well, you talked to my brother about this? What does he have to say about you trying to kick me out of the house like this?
Oh, don't you worry about Brian. He completely agrees with what I'm doing here. But of course he is. After all, you're squatting on his birthright. And we've been very patient with you, letting you stay here as long as we have, don't you think?
Look, I'm not trying to say that this house won't ultimately end up going to Brian, but I'm just saying that you need to be a little more patient. These things need more time to unfold and happen.
You may have your pace, but I have my pace, and it's a lot faster than yours. Now why can't you just move out already?
Actually, I have something that I've been wanting to talk to you for a while now. You've been going in and out of my room without asking me, haven't you?
Going into your room? What are you talking about? I practically own this house, so I'll go into whichever room I please, thank you very much. And just what's wrong with me going into your room? Is there something you're trying to hide? If you don't like me doing it, then maybe you should just move out.
Charlotte, please! We've talked about this before, and I just don't want you snooping around my room if there's no need for you to be in there. Besides, I have a lot of important things that my parents left me in there. I would just appreciate as few people as possible passing through there, if that's all right.
Like I said, if you don't like me going into your room, then how about you pack up your bags and move out? Because otherwise we're just going to have this same conversation over and over again.
Well, I suppose it really is starting to seem that way, isn't it? Why do you have to be like this?
If you don't like it, Melissa, you know exactly what you can do to solve this issue. But don't pretend like you can just squat here forever because you paid for one lousy surgery.
I'm going to have to chat with my brother about this. I'll need some time to think, okay? Hey, Brian, are you there? I kind of needed to talk to you a little bit about Charlotte. Is now a good time to have this chat?
Oh, hey there, sis. You wanted to talk to me about my wife? Well, sure, I guess I have time. What's on your mind?
Well, the thing is that Charlotte has been demanding that I move out of the family house. Not only that, but she said that you agreed with her that I should leave. Am I really causing that much trouble being at home?
Wait, what? Melissa, come on. You know that I would never ask you to move out. It's like you said, this is our family house, and you're as entitled to it as I am. I would never, ever try and kick you out of there.
Oh, thank goodness. I knew that didn't sound like you at all. I just knew it. But I guess that means that Charlotte was just lying to me about what you said to try and make me believe her.
You know, I haven't told many people about this, but something really has changed in that woman lately. She just doesn't seem to know how to act decent around people anymore. She's just gotten herself so worked up about this house, saying that we're the only ones who should get to use it. And I've tried to explain to her that this is the house where you and I grew up in, and that we both have a lot of precious memories here. But she just doesn't want to hear any of it.
I see. To be honest, I didn't want to say anything either, but I could kind of sense a tension growing between the two of you. It's like you always have something to say, but I can see you holding yourself back and letting Charlotte speak her mind. So I guess I was just a bit surprised when she started talking to me about all of this too.
So I guess she was pretty forceful in asking you to move out then?
She certainly didn't hold back on the insults or low blows, I'll say that much. And she even is acting like it was no big deal about Tommy's surgery. She just said that was how I paid rent to keep living with her. That one really blew my mind. I mean, how could you act like that towards someone?
You mean she wasn't being grateful at all for what you did for our son?
Grateful is certainly not the word that I would use to describe how Charlotte was acting towards me. She just acted as if it was a given that I should have paid for the surgery, but not that she should let me keep living in my own damn house. And when she said that you agreed with her, well, that's when I knew that I had to talk to you about this.
I see. Well, I really am so sorry that Chara's been acting that way towards you. I heard her complaining about you, asking her not to go in your room, too. I guess she said that you caught her taking things from there before. And here I thought that you were actually going to get along while living here.
Wait, what? She She took things out of my room! When did this happen? Do you remember what she took?
I thought she had taken some bags and makeup and stuff like that, but she said that you lent her some of those too.
What? I haven't lent her anything at all. And if she's taking things like that, then she could actually be taking some of Mom's things. You know that I don't really care about handbags or makeup or stuff like that, so what I have in my room of that is all Mom's stuff. You remember how much she spent on nice things like that, right?
But she told me that you lent them to her. I just don't really know what to think now. I really just wish that this wasn't happening, though.
Well, this is exactly why I was telling her to stay out of my room to begin with. I was worried something like this might happen.
So then, you really think that she's orchestrating this big lie or something like that? Telling you one thing and then telling me something else?
At this point, I really don't know what else to believe but that. How could it be anything else?
Well, look, I'm certainly not trying to make excuses for her, but you might want to know that when she was little, her dad actually robbed his own house before running away. It basically meant that her mom had to raise Charlotte with virtually no savings or assets to speak of.
Oh, I see. Well, I had no idea about any of that, but I guess I would have just thought she might empathize with us a bit more. I still just can't understand why she would want to kick me out of the house I've been living in for all this time.
I know. I really just don't know where she gets some of these ideas from sometimes. I really did hope that moving in here would help her make friends and settle in, but...
No, I know what you mean. I also hoped that you guys living here would bring us all closer together. I think maybe there might have been a few times that I ignored red flags from Charlotte, hoping that it would all work itself out. But I guess maybe we should have been more proactive at doing things together instead of hoping it would all work out.
I think you might be right about that. But let me try and talk to her. I mean, I'm not sure she realized just quite how much you've actually done for our son.
Well, okay, I just don't want to be the reason why you two get into a fight. Charlotte? Did you come into my room again? I thought I told you to stop doing that without my permission. And did you take stuff from here too? I noticed so many things missing from where they should be. Why don't you ever listen to me when I tell you not to come into my room without asking me first?
You know what? I have had just about enough out of you. Do you think that I don't know what's going on? Do you really think that I don't know that you're just after the money that's in this house? That's a real reason why I can't stand the thought of living with you.
Charlotte, I just want to know why you think you have a right to go into my room without my permission. What makes you think you can do that and take things out of there as well?
I can do that because I need to collect rent from you somehow. Tommy is going to need another surgery and I don't have the money for it. So if you thought that you were going to get to live here free forever, then you're dead wrong.
But I already contribute $1,000 a month to the house and expenses and stuff. Besides, I don't see why I should have to pay rent to live in the house that belongs to my family. After all, the mortgage is already paid off. So why can't I just keep paying $1,000 a month like I have been? Why are you so determined to try and kick me out of my own home? I just can't understand that.
You have no idea just how long I've been holding back for the sake of my son. That's why I've been so stressed out about everything lately. Not only that, but you know that I only have a part-time job that barely pays me anything. Just why do you think $1,000 a month is enough for me?
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't pay $1,000 a month so that you can go out and have fun. I'm putting that towards the house so that we can eat and pay the utilities and things like that. And just why are you wanting more to go out when your own son is in the hospital again?
Oh, shut up! You're not my mother and you're not Tommy's mother. How dare you try and tell me how I should live my life or raise my son? I am sick of having you around here. I want you to pack up your bags and I want you out of here right now.
Well, fine then. If that's really what you want, then I'll leave. But you'll regret this. Good luck with the 3 other surgeries Tommy is going to need.
What in the world are you talking about? There's no 3 surgeries! My little Tommy is all done with those and is healthy as a horse!
You don't actually think that's true, do you? Don't you know anything about your son's condition at all? The first surgery that I paid for was only the first of a 4-part sequence. Tommy still has 3 more surgeries to go. The doctor said that his disease was advancing and that the process involved repeated surgeries.
Wait, what? But, I mean, you're telling me my son is going to need 3 more surgeries just to have a chance at surviving.
That's right. But this is a good thing. The doctors are very optimistic about this treatment plan. But I guess you'd rather I just put more money in the house so that you can spend it on yourself, right?
Oh, I see. Why didn't you tell me this from the very start?
Well, we are talking about it now. And when I get back home, you, my brother, and I are all going to talk about this in person. Your son still needs surgeries, and this isn't something that's going to be settled over text.
Well, great, then. Let's just all meet at home and we can talk about how much money we'll need from you to get through this.
You really are so obvious! Do you even realize that? Do you ever get tired of using your son to try and squeeze money and pity and favors out of people? Even when it came to you stealing from my room, you used your son's medical bills as an excuse for what you were doing.
That isn't true at all. You really have no idea what you're talking about, Melissa.
Well, I just want you to know that if I move out of this house, I'm not going to pay for another one of Tommy's surgeries. You and Brian are just going to have to figure something out on your own. But if it's really what you want, then I'll pack up my things and I'll move out of the house like you want.
Now hold on just a second. Can't you pick up on a joke when someone tells you one? Of course you can stay in the house. We'd be more than happy to let you stay. You and I can be friends again and everything.
Wow. I really don't know whether or not I should be shocked or just disappointed at your change in tone. But if you think that we're going to be friends after you said what you said to me, after you stole my mom's heirlooms from my room, you should just know that I'm not going to forgive you for what you've done.
Your mom's heirlooms? What are you talking about?
I mean all the bags and makeup and things like that you've stolen from my room when you've gone in there. Those weren't mine. They were things that my mom left behind after she passed away. You took them out of my room and used them like you would any other accessory or product.
Oh, wait. Those were your mom's? I had no idea about that. But I hardly use them at all. I promise that the bags only have a little bit of wear and tear. But if it's really that big of a deal, I'll return them all.
I can't believe that you would take what's not yours and not even offer to repair what you damaged!
I'm sorry, I really just thought I was borrowing them. I didn't know they belonged to your mom.
You had no right to borrow them in the first place. I already asked you to stop using them, didn't I?
I know, but I never saw you using them, and I thought it was such a waste to leave them like that.
You realize that you still haven't even apologized for what you've done yet, right?
Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have acted the way I did, and this house belongs to you, okay? So please don't leave us.
I still don't think that you're ready to act like the mother that you ought to be to Tommy.
How can you say that? What does that even mean?
I mean, here you are, acting like you need money for his surgery, but you've been stealing and selling all just to get a little extra spending money for yourself. Not only that, but I overheard you on the phone one day talking to someone who sounded like another man. You were bragging all about the wonderful things that were in the house that you could sell. I have to say that I was really surprised when I first heard that, though. Then I realized that it wasn't that you didn't have enough money for Tommy's surgery. You were just hiding the money you did have from my brother. Well, now we've caught you and there's nowhere for you to go. I'll tell my brother all about this and he'll know how to deal with you. In the end, I presented my brother with the proof I had of Charlotte's theft. I even hired a PI to look into who the man could be. The detective found proof that Charlotte was having an affair with this man, and that led to Brian asking for a divorce. As part of the divorce proceedings, the court ordered Charlotte to pay for all of Tommy's remaining surgeries while Brian was given full custody. Brian apologized for all that he had put me through with Charlotte, but I was just glad that Tommy was going to be okay. I have no idea where Charlotte went after that. And as long as she's keeping up with her payments, I really don't care. Meanwhile, it took some time for Brian to begin to put himself out there in the dating world as a single father. But eventually he met a new woman he proposed to. Luckily, Brian's new fiancée was much more independent and showed no interest in wanting to live in the same house. And that suits me just fine. It suits me even better that we're able to get along and that never once have I had to ask her not to go into my room when her and Brian have come over to visit.
Hey, what the heck is the matter with you, huh? Why were you hanging out around one of our important clients? Oh, Kelly, I have to say, I didn't expect to run into you. I know, right? The last time I saw you was at high school graduation about 10 years ago. Who knew that I would bump into you again like that? Yep, I was definitely surprised, to say the least. I really thought that I'd seen the last of you. But I guess the world is funny like that. I would have never thought to run into you at my husband's company, of all places. Wait, what? Your husband's company? What are you talking about? Well, I actually got married last year, and the man I got married to owns the company you saw me at. He told me that he had forgotten some important documents at home, so I was just dropping them off. I guess that his secretary was sick and called out, so he didn't have anyone else he could ask. No. Oh, this can't be right. You have got to be lying. I mean, are you actually telling me that you're married to a company president? And not just any company president, but the president of one of our most valuable partners? How in the world did someone like you manage that? First of all, I would like to remind you that I am also a representative of this company as well. So then you really help out your husband with all of his business? I mean, I do when he asks it of me, but normally I stay at home and take care of our family. So there aren't actually many days when I'm really going into the office. I actually just happened to be in there at the same time that you happened to show up. I see. Well, you certainly have changed, haven't you? You aren't that little crybaby that wouldn't stop yelling after she found out I stole her boyfriend from her. Instead, you're an uppity snob who thinks they're better than me because of who their husband is. Do you really think I've changed that much since back then? Of course, I do remember how much it hurt me when I found out what you had done. So, yes, perhaps I have grown up and matured from this just a little. And I guess I learned that there are a lot of fish in the sea, so it wasn't really worth crying over a guy who cheated on me anyways. You really must think that the world revolves all around you now, huh? You really have changed. After all, I remember even after I did steal your boyfriend, you still had the guts to show your ugly face in school day after day after that. Oh man, I'm actually starting to crack up laughing just thinking about how it used to be back then. That's fine, and if you think it's funny, you should laugh. After all, it's all behind us now. And I'm afraid that your petty bullying just isn't going to work on me anymore. You really are such a bore now, do you know that? But you're right, the past is the past, and I need to be thinking about what to do next. What to do next? What do you mean by that? Well, I just wonder how you'd react if I stole your husband like I stole your boyfriend. That would just really crush you. Are you serious? Of course I am. I've made up my mind and I know what I have to do, so you can kiss your little marriage goodbye. I'm going to steal your husband and turn you back into that crying, scared little girl you were in high school. Then you'll be so crushed that you'll think twice about trying to get with a guy above your post. I really can't believe that you're actually telling me all of this. Oh, come on. Did you really think that you were going to get your happily ever after with this guy? That's just in movies. Besides, if anyone deserves that kind of life, it's me. You may have fallen in love with this guy by chance, but when it comes to stealing men away from their partners, no one is better than me. And then once I've made your husband mine, I'll be the wife of the company president.
Hey Iris, I just wanted to thank you again for your help today. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't brought in those documents.
Well, I'm just glad that I was able to be of some help to you today. It had been so long since the last time I was in there that I had forgotten how big the building was. I always get so nervous walking through those big entrance doors.
Well, you know that we're actually working on an expansion project right now, right? By the way, who was it you were talking to in the office today? Did you run into someone that you knew or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It was actually a girl I used to go to high school with. Apparently she's working with a company that you partner with.
Oh, I see. Well, wow, what a coincidence. Sometimes the world is just a little too small, don't you think? It seemed like you guys had quite a bit to talk about. But anyways, I'd love to hear about your day. How about I take you out for dinner to say thanks for helping me out? I feel like it's been so long since you and I were able to go on a nice quiet date by ourselves.
Oh, you don't have to do that, Zeke. And as for that woman, I'll be happy if I never see her again.
Wait, what? What's the matter with her?
Don't you remember? I had mentioned her to you before. She was the girl from high school who stole my boyfriend from me. I had really hoped that I would never have to deal with her again. Until today, that is.
You mean that was her? So what I thought was you having a friendly conversation was really...
That's right. I'd done my best to avoid her ever since we graduated. I wasn't expecting to run into her at all. But when I did, I guess that I just kind of froze up. Anyways, I ended up mentioning to her that you and I were married.
Oh, wow. I'm really sorry that happened then. And to think that you wouldn't have managed to avoid her if I hadn't asked for a favor of you.
You really don't need to blame yourself. After all, I'm not the person I was back then, and I'm so happy to be married to you. But I just think that you should be careful, okay? Because apparently Kelly decided to make you her next target.
Her next target? What does that mean? Why should I be careful?
Well, she threatened to try and steal you from me like she did with my boyfriend in school. I guess she wants to take my place as the wife of the company president.
What? Are you serious? What is this lady's deal?
That's what I'm saying. This is why I was trying to avoid her for this long. If she hasn't improved at all since high school, then I think it's fair to say that she's only gotten worse.
I mean, it's one thing to pull that kind of thing in high school, but we're all adults now. And she works for a company that we partner with? What is she thinking trying to get with a married man like me? That's just so stupid. I mean, does she not realize the effect that trying something like that could have on her career over there?
I don't really think that she is the kind of person to think before she speaks. But I also doubt that she would change her mind once she's announced that she's going to do something. That's why I'm telling you to be careful.
Right. Well, I guess I'll keep my eye out for her and try to stay away. Thank you so much for warning me about this. I really don't want to get suckered into any of this lady's scheme, so I'll be careful.
Just thought you should know that your husband is all mine now, so be a good girl and let me marry your company president husband. I already have the divorce paperwork drawn up, so let's not drag this out, okay? What in the world are you talking about this time? Oh, you'd find out soon enough, so I'm just telling you now. I have stolen your husband, and now he is obsessed with me. Of course, I'm not all that surprised that a man like him would see the value in being with a woman like me. Literally, what in the world are you talking about, Kelly? I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Remember how I told you I was going to steal your husband? Well, I've gone and done it, and now we're going to get married, and I'll be the wife of the company president. Are you sure that you've gone and done it? Because I don't think you have. In fact, I know that my husband would never ever betray me like that, so please be serious with me. If you don't want to believe me, then that's your fault. But it's the truth. Your husband is head over heels in love with me. And as proof, he even invited me out for a lovely dinner date last night. So, what do you think about that? You're telling me that my husband invited you out on a date? That's right. I had tried sending him so many messages and emails, and he never got back to me at all. So I decided it would be best to talk to him face to face. I went into the building to go to his office, and we ended up riding in the same elevator by chance. I took that chance to tell him who I was and confess my feelings for him. You confessed your feelings to my husband? That's right. And then he said that he liked my passion and invited me to a lovely restaurant with a view of the city. That means that he likes me back. And that's why I am so sorry to say, but the two of us are going to spend one hot night together. As for you, well, you can just enjoy a lonely night at home all by yourself. I don't know what you're talking about, but my husband is not going to go on any date with you. And I certainly don't think he said anything to express that he had feelings for you. So I'm still not quite sure why you think that you've successfully stolen him from me. If he even has invited you to dinner, I wouldn't read too much into that. You really just don't understand anything at all, do you? Why would a man invite someone other than his wife out for dinner? Obviously, it's because he's much more attracted to that woman than he is to his own wife. Are you serious? Of course! The only reason a man would go out to eat with a woman who wasn't his wife is if he was trying to have an affair with her. Sure, he might understand that others might see doing something like that as taboo, but the fact that he invited me proves just how much he really likes me. And if he likes me enough to go on a public date with me, then you and him are as good as done. He doesn't like you anymore. We're going to get married, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so just like I stole your boyfriend in high school, now I've stolen your company president husband. So why don't you start crying already, you loser? The only crying that's happening is out of laughter. My husband and I are both cracking up at these. Wait, what? What do you mean? I mean that we're laughing so hard that tears are streaming down our faces. It hurts to laugh. Oh man, we were actually laughing so hard I think I pulled something. Now, hold on just one moment. What do you mean your husband is there with you? Of course he is. The office is closed today and he didn't have anything in his schedule book. We just ordered pizza and have been staying at home basically all day. Wait, but then I don't get it. Why is he choosing to have dinner with you and not me? He told me that he was going to take me out to an amazing restaurant with a view of the city. It's only a little longer until the time when he and I were supposed to meet. He's not really going to ditch me, is he?
You really need to wake up and live in reality with the rest of us. I never once said that I was going out to dinner with you.
Wait a second. Is this Mr. Masterson?
That's right. And I must say I was blown away by our interaction in the elevator. I mean, you basically cornered me and refused to let me off until I agreed to what you were saying. You forced me to ask you out to dinner, but I was never actually going to go through with that.
Wait a second. I don't get it. I thought you were asking me out because you liked me.
I only asked you out because I wanted to get off that damn elevator. I had a very important conference call that I was trying to make and I wasn't going to let you hold me up.
But, I mean, this can't be right.
It wasn't right. I don't even remember what time I said we'd meet or where.
That can't be right. You said that you were going to meet me in an hour.
Well, okay then. Wait an hour and see if I show up anywhere. Just don't be surprised if your boss shows up instead of me.
My boss? What are you talking about? Why would he be there?
I know that I said that I would think of a place with a good view of the city, but I certainly didn't say I'd make a reservation. Anyways, the place I had in mind was your boss's office. He has quite a good view of the city at night, right?
My boss's office? What are you talking about? Wait a second. My boss's car just pulled up. What the heck is going on here? I thought that you were obsessed with me, and that's why you wanted to go out on a date with me, right? I thought that you were trading Iris in for me.
Why in the world would I ever want to be with someone like you? You spam my email with all kinds of crazy messages and corner me in the elevator in my own company. You can bet that I showed your boss all those emails and the security footage of the elevator. He's the one who suggested speaking with you.
Did he really say that? Why would you do this to me?
I was willing to overlook the emails, to be honest with you, but I didn't think that you would actually try and confront me face to face. And I figured that if I was going to be dealing with someone willing to do that I would need to bring in some extra support.
So that's why you went and told my boss about what I was doing? I thought that we were going to keep our love private at first. How could you go and get my boss involved in what's supposed to be between you and I?
You still just don't get it at all, do you? I'm the president of a company that is very important to the survival of your company. Did you really think anything positive was going to come out of harassing me like you did?
But, I didn't think I was harassing you.
If you really didn't think that was harassment, then you're only making me feel better about involving your boss. In fact, we were going to try and handle this during work hours, but I told him about the business with the elevator and fake date, and he agreed to talk to you now.
This can't be happening. Things weren't supposed to go this way. Please, you have to help me. Can't we just calm down and talk about this? Oh, surely you must see how much prettier I am than Iris, right? I am much more suited to be the wife of the company president.
If anyone needs to calm down and think things through, it's you. Besides, why would I want to be with you again after all this time?
Be with me again? What are you talking about?
You really don't remember? We used to date in high school. We had actually been dating about a year before you left me. In fact, I remember the day that you left me because it was actually the day that you told me you were with Iris's ex-boyfriend. Well, anyways, it turns out that Iris and I were in some after-school clubs together, and that experience helped push us closer.
Wait a second. You mean you're Zeke from high school?
Ding, ding, ding. I had actually completely forgotten about you until Iris brought you up. It took a while for it all to come back to me, but if you thought that someone like you could ever replace Iris, you're crazy. Do you really think that adults act like that? We're not in school anymore. You need to realize that.
But what's going on? I had no idea that you owned your own company. You're so different than how you used to be.
Well, I don't know what to tell you except that people change over time. I'd like to think that most people improve, but you show me it's possible for people to only get worse as well. Anyways, I don't want to keep your boss waiting any longer than he needs to. And while you deal with whatever consequences he sought up for you, I'm going to enjoy a lovely, quiet night in with my wife. Have a nice life, Kelly.
After that, Zeke was informed by Iris's boss that after their discussion, he had decided to let her go. What happened next really shocked me. It turns out that Iris was actually carrying on an affair with her boss and that his wife was quite suspicious. The wife hired a PI to uncover more about her husband's affair and found out about him and Kelly. Then she sued the both of them for their affair. Meanwhile, more of Iris's affairs came to light and lawsuits from upset spouses began to pour in. In the end, Kelly was buried in legal debts that she couldn't afford and lacked the income to pay them off. She quickly started working some part-time jobs and moved into a tiny apartment where she can afford to make payments on her debts. Kelly thought that as an adult, she could act the way she did when she was nothing but a high school bully. She may have even gotten away with it for a little, but her luck was bound to run out. Ever since then, Kelly's been too busy to ever try and bother us again. But that works out just fine for Zeke and I. We couldn't be happier.